So I'm AG Saño. I'm a mural artist. I'm also a photographer and landscape architect. I'm based here in Quezon City. My studio is here in Marinhawa Street. The first time I found out that art can be a vehicle for change is when I witnessed how the movement blossomed back in the early 80s. I was exposed to activism early on, and I met a lot of activist artists from that era. So growing up, I learned art and how it can be used, to advance advocacies. And personally, I started my own journey back in like the early 2000s when I started painting murals in the outskirts of Benguet and the Cordilleras. And after that, I got involved heavily into marine conservation. And around 2010, I found out about massive dolphin slaughters in Japan and some parts of Europe. And that prompted me to start my own campaign, using street art to create awareness and educate people about what's happening to the marine environments. So being part of the environmental movement, I learned that we need to act, as a whole, to fight the issues that involve destruction of environment, including plastic waste, climate change, and biodiversity loss. So my journey towards this sustainability struggle is based on personal level of action. And that's why I decided many years ago to manage my own waste. I've been living a zero waste lifestyle for a long time now. And apart from that, I continue to use art to talk to people, to tell stories about the plight of indigenous peoples who were heavily impacted by the changing climate and the other impacts of the actions of humanity. We cannot generalize the issue on sustainability and who's to blame. But of course, every single person has a stake in this cause. Every single person has an ecological footprint, and that also means that each one of us has to take action on a personal level. The artist community, as well as other communities, have a stake in this. We all have reasons to believe that we're part of the problem, and that only entails the concept or principle that the solution should also come from us. Although there are different levels of participation or impact, like I would always say that the biggest impact comes from the corporations and the companies, the governments who create the policies. But then each one of us need to be there. We need to be there to step up as well, because the power has to come from the people, and power has to emanate from the lower ranks of society. And should always be reminded that there are billions of us compared to only a handful of world leaders and only a handful of corporations. So art plays a big role in the issue of climate and other social issues, in the sense that we are the storytellers of our generation. Storytelling is a big part of creating the solutions for all these crises that humanity is facing. We need to amplify the voices of the voiceless, the indigenous people, lower classes of society, and of course the elements of nature who would never be understood by humans. And it is our role as the sensitive part of society, sensitive hearts, strong minds, and will. Artists have to step up to persuade and to educate the bigger part of the population. All the problems that humanity is facing is so overwhelming that we tend to shy away from taking action. Depression and anxiety is very much prevalent in today's society, especially the younger generation. Keeping hope alive is about finding out what your original motivation is, asking yourself why you have to do this and why you need to do this. For me, the special motivation is that I have young nieces and a nephew who belong to that generation who will face the brunt of all the impacts that humanity had been doing to planet Earth. That's where I get my hope from. And also when I see small victories, small wins by civil society, by my fellow artist activists, that's where I find hope, and that's where I gather strength. Being a street artist, there are two parts or two ways on how to look at my art. First, if I create a giant mural on a building, chances are that will be seen by thousands. And if we're talking about street art, on the other hand, there's a good chance that the artworks won't last a lifetime. The fact that we can amplify our message through social media could be how we can transfer the legacy. So, audience, legacy, witness, amplification is equals legacy. I think the younger generation cannot escape the fact that they will be the ones who bear the brunt of the impacts of climate change. Okay, so the next generation has to step up. So my advice is keep on motivating yourself, keep on finding out your why and your reason to stand up and fight for your future. Take the role of the storyteller and keep on telling the story.